Welcome to Manhwa Recaps, spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. Huge shout out and special thanks to the channel members. The series starts with a battle being shown, very one-sidedly as heads begin rolling. All caused by a single man. But he clearly doesn't want to partake, as he has tears rolling down his face. A man laughs at him, saying that he's supposed to be the head of the Sunwoo family, yet he's only using the martial arts of Kwangchang and Diankang, asking if he forgot his clone clan's famous 13 swords. Then he says that it's only the former head named Gi who inherited that martial art technique. This is the blood demon cult's leader named Du Tang. He says that he forgot how sick the man was for killing his own people, and he shouldn't expect any better from the sorry dragon corpse bastards, and asks how he will fare against this child. The man looks visibly concerned, and Du Tang laughs at him, saying that he has chosen well, and he should kill this child as savagely as he killed the others. His name is Jin, and he is the last patriarch of the Sunwoo clan. The woman in front of him is one of his clan members, but we don't know which, but we know her name is Yunha. Jin glances back at the ghost of all his family members, and he says that he's sorry, and it seems like he can't be like them anymore, specifically his squad leader. Who asks if he's feeling bad for himself again, saying that he always tells him this, but he did his best, and that's good enough. The results are not his responsibility, and he should raise his head up high. Jin says that his squad leader said that, if he doesn't give up until the end, he's not a loser, even if he's defeated. If so, he'll do what he can until it's all over. If he is captured by them, he'll just become another puppet of Du Tang, and someday he will make this squad leader do what he made him do, and he can't let that happen, and that the only way out of this is death, and he'll die of his own volition. He points his blade up, putting it to his throat, and Du Tang asks him what he's trying to do. Jin says he might be able to kill him, but he won't be able to use his body, and he won't let him get away with this either, and he'll kill him as a ghost, and then stabs himself straight through the chest. As his vision fades out, Jin says that he wished he put in more effort into life. He shouldn't have constantly shirked away all the time, because he didn't want to be in conflict with his brothers, and he wishes he had lived up more to his potential. He starts to hear a familiar voice as everything goes black, and when he comes to, a man's yelling at him, asking if there's anything he wants to say. Jin is now a little dumpling, and he's confused as his hands are tied, and he's on his knees in front of a man, but he asks if this is a dream, because he had not seen his father since that day 10 years ago. This is the current Sunwoo patriarch named Jung. Jin calls out to him, but realizes that his voice sounds a bit different, as well as that his hands are tied up and very pudgy. Jung asks if he has nothing to say, asking if this means he acknowledges the fact that he killed his future brother-in-law. Jin asks if he's trying to say that he killed Dan Hasong, saying that he was his only friend, but he died more than 10 years ago. It was chaotic because they drank so much that day, and they never had the motive or capability to even kill him. He wonders if he's really come back to this time that he was framed for killing his best friend, and he tells his father he doesn't remember. His father yells, saying this is not an appropriate answer, and there's no way he'll be able to repent to the head of the Dan clan. We see his brothers laughing at him. Their names are Sung, Hyuk, and of course we already know Gi. Hyuk says that they should cripple him and send Jin to the Dan clan, and they'll be able to take their grief out onto him. Sung agrees, saying that they can kick him out and they'll deal with it instead. Gi suggests that they send him to the front lines, since the alliance has been requesting to send a son of the direct lineage, and since he's going to die anyway, they should put him to use. Jin says that means that they just won't have to go to war, as the battlefront of the demonic cult referred to by the border where they were at war against the blood demon cult that had taken over Yunnan. 10 years ago, the Murim Alliance and the blood demon cult had a war, and that was the Orthodox Blood Great War. The Murim Alliance was barely able to stop the blood cult from expanding to Zhangjian, but they could not do anything about Yunnan. Afterwards, they gathered the martial artists near Yunnan to keep an eye over the cult, and that is what ended up turning into the Great Blood Demon Cult battlefield. However, that's all old talk. They are barely maintaining the battlefront by forcing children of direct lineage from various clans and sects to go there, and he shouldn't be chosen since he is not skilled in martial arts, but because of what they think he has done, they have a reason to send him, and there is probably no better outcome for them. He says he assumes one of them schemed this whole thing, and his father decided to send him to the battlefield. It was the same conclusion he made in his past when he was 21. He says tonight 2 people came to see him, and he needs to find out the truth this time. We see the woman who he was refusing to kill, Yunha, asking if he's alright. He says that he is, asking if she's okay. She says she's the same, she just believes that he's not the culprit. Jin says last time he was in the situation he just cried and thanked her for believing him, and he says that he is not the culprit. She looks surprised. He asks why she looks surprised when she believes him. She says that she was just wondering why he was so certain. He says there is no reason he would kill his only friend and her fiancée. More importantly, they were sitting across from each other, but the sword he did not take with him was there stabbed into his back. She says that she sees, asking why he didn't say this to their father, and Jin says he'll go to the battlefield instead. Back when he was younger, he lost his mother early and could not receive support from her family. He was forced to survive on his own, and he was called a genius thanks to his excellent memory, but he had to play dumb in order to survive. However, that act ate away at him, and when he realized that he had actually become stupid and an idiot, he also gained a ton of weight and became ashamed of the family. In order to change, he must leave and meet his friend who is on the battlefield, who is also his role model. He is the Berserk, Tempest, Soaring Dragon, Soul Pung. But Jin wonders what's going on as Yunha's behavior changed. Back then, she comforted him, and he wonders if it's because he's not crying this time. We see somebody watching from above, and they jump down. While Jin's still lost in thought, he hears it in turn, seeing his father looking down at him. Jin says that his father seems different from back then too, and he wonders if it's because he's acting differently. Back then, he saw how he begged to be let out and left after a sigh. His father asks if he has truly been framed, and he wonders if he was overhearing his conversation with his sister, asking if maybe he did this in the past too. His father says he knows he was pretending to be dumb, and he didn't know that he wanted to leave the household though, if he had known earlier. He never would have let this happen, and he's sorry that he's ruined his life. Jin's just confused as his father's done nothing but neglect him, and he says now that he thinks about it, the maternal side's households always had great influence over the Sunwoo clan. Even his father had to compromise with them as the head of the household, and perhaps it was beneficial for his father to neglect him since his mother's household did not support him. His father asks if there's anything he would like to hear from him, and Jin asks if he could be let into the patriarch's library just once. His father asks if that's really all he wants, and if it's just for the day. Jin says he doesn't even know the household's martial arts, and he wants to learn a bit before he's put on the battlefield. In his past life, he coincidentally became the patriarch, but didn't know anything about their clan's martial arts. Because of that he had to steal the martial arts of others. If he can learn the 13 Sunwoo swords, he should be able to do much better this life. His father asks if he really wishes to learn martial arts through a book in just the day, and Jin says it's better than nothing. His father agrees, saying that he will allow it, but there is a condition. It's too dangerous to learn cultivation techniques on his own, so he'll teach him that himself, and he tells him to sit properly. Jin says okay, and gets into the lotus position and turns around. His father says that he will teach him their clan's ultimate primordial unity arts. If he memorizes what he recites from this moment onwards, he'll be able to do this when he wants. Jin says that this is usually only taught to the patriarch and his heir, and that he should be happy about it, but he has a strange feeling. He doesn't exactly know what this feeling he has is, but it definitely makes him feel regretful. We hear his brothers yelling at his dad for letting him into the library, and they tell him to reconsider. His father says that if Jin dies without having done anything, it'll ruin their image. He's already made his decision, so they shouldn't bring it up again. Sung tries to convince him again, but Jung says that it's only for today anyways. Though, of course, having all of his past memories says that a day is more than enough. Jin says that he memorized martial arts today as well, and he's not learning it, he's just showing it to his brain. He was known as a genius for his perfect memory, and even on the battlefield he survived by using his memory to replicate his comrades' martial arts. Later on, Pung told him that it was called a photographic memory, and everything he sees here will enter his head today, and he'll ensure none of it goes to waste. First, he'll start with the ultimate primordial unity arts that he learned from his father, and the 13 Sunwoo swords, the secret art of their clan. All day, reading goes by, and he says that he feels like he'll die at this rate. He can't handle any more, and he did shove it all into his head, but he has no clue what the 13 Sunwoo swords even means, and he needs to go get some air first. He lays outside on the grass, and starts to sigh, and wonders if he should stop here, as he won't be able to understand most of it if he memorizes it anyways. He hears his brother saying, there's no way someone like that is going to learn martial arts, and they're laughing about how he's pretty much just a hog. We see some women with them as well. The women spot Jin asking who he is, and Sung says that he's the embarrassing third brother. Hyuk says as they can see, he's closer to a pig than a man, and that he has to go to the great demon cult battlefield tomorrow, and their father gave him time to learn, but he's still lazing around. The woman's surprised, asking if he's really going to the battlefield. Jin wonders why she's making this worse than it has to be, and Sung says that he isn't even worth paying attention to, and we learn that she is part of the Yeagle clan. Hyuk agrees that he's no different from a pig, and Gi says that he committed crimes here, so he's going to go to the battlefront to atone for them. Jin says if she's from the Yeagle clan, she might be the heavenly wisdom sword peak named Yeagle Seoil, and she's a sword genius who suddenly appeared in the Yeagle clan, which had not had much success in martial arts. From what he remembers of her, she toured many clans to gain experience, and wonders if that's why she came here. Gi walks over to Jin, asking if he has had any luck learning martial arts. He entered the Patriarch's exclusive library, so he wants to see how much he's improved. Jin asks what's going to change from a single day of learning martial arts, and he's trying his hardest already, so he's going to head back inside. Gi starts to come in with a punch, and Jin manages to block it with his hand, as well as some purple aura. Gi is completely caught off guard, and Jin says he can't believe that it hurts so much just because he blocked a single punch, and he needs to do something about his body. Sung laughs, asking if his punch was really blocked by a fatty, saying that his fist must be slow. He says after the pig leaves, Gi will have to inherit the title of shame of their clan. Gi charges at him again, punching Jin all over his stomach. But we see Jin is blocking all of them with his fists, and is just confused, saying that he's seeing his moves for the first time, yet they seem familiar. This is undoubtedly one of the martial arts he just read, one of their clans. It is the Tempest 13 Strikes, and it's very evident now that he's actually seeing it. He tells his brother that's not bad, and he's very happy that he's seeing it. He continues blocking every attack. Gi asks what he means by not bad. Jin says it was nothing, he just misspoke, asking what he's waiting for, telling him to attack him more. Sung and Hyuk start laughing, saying that Jin's really out here telling him that his techniques are pleasurable. Gi charges at him again, and Jin says he finally understands the mechanisms he couldn't understand just from looking at the text, and that these were the moves. The current form being used now with fast punches connecting to kicks is the Tempest Waves. It's not being performed properly though, as it's wide open. He rears back his palm, and comes in with a palm strike, hitting Gi in the chest. Gi starts to spit out blood, and Jin realizes that he made a mistake. As his brother falls onto the ground, he does as well. Sung says that he's lucky, and Hyuk says that they're going to show him their skills as well. Jin says this shit couldn't get worse. Seoil says that she can't believe they're trying to bully a tired man who's so exhausted he's collapsed, also when their other brother's injured, and they should be tending to him. She asks the other girl, Chongyan, if she also thinks it's pathetic. Sung says of course not, they're just about to care for their brother. Hyuk says that he's already doing it, asking Gi if he's okay. Jin says that it sure is pathetic, but that also includes him, who is being bullied by them. As they start leaving, we see Chongyan staring at him. Jin says they finally left, and he needs to do something about all of his fat. His father then approaches him, and Jin instantly raises up. He says that he's just about to get back to work, but his father says that he's proud of him. Jin can't help but feel happy. His father asks if he knew that of the 4 marriages he had, only one of them was by his own choice. He thought it was only right that he should do so for the clan, but now he's not so sure. Jin understands what he's saying now. His father asks if he read the text of the 13 Sinwu swords. Jin says he did, and his father says that he's about to do some sword training, which he hasn't done in some time. He may rest a little, then head back in. His father unsheathes his blade and starts performing the 13 Sinwu swords in front of him, which is very helpful to Jin. Jin says from the first form to the 13th, and then the first form again, but faster. He sees that he's not just showing him the forms of the 13 Sinwu swords, it's all just for his sake. Jin heads back inside and continues reading. He says that he's finished reading the diaries of his ancestors, and he believes they left some secrets of understanding in them, but he doesn't comprehend it yet. The forms themselves are hard to understand too, but something's off, as one of the covers is much thicker than all the others. He starts to take it apart, and he says this is as he thought, there's something in here. It appears to be the explanation of a form called the 14th form. There's another form on the other side, which is the 15th form, and he wonders if this is what he thinks it is. It takes us to Yunha brushing her hair in the mirror. As she's staring at it, she says she starts to think about Seoil's hair and how jealous she was of it. She breaks her comb out of frustration and says that she just needs to grow hers out a little more. She overhears some women talking about how the 4th son beat up the 3rd son. Apparently, it gets better than that as he tried to show off in front of the lady of the Yeagle clan and fainted in front of her. They start laughing about how funny it is, and Yunha charges into the room asking them what they just said and if Brother Gi was really injured by Jin. The girls are very scared and start crying, saying that that's correct. Yunha gets pissed, asking how dare he. It then takes us to Seoil and Chongyun's room. Seoil says that this is the information of the third son, just as she requested, her purchase from the nearby house sect. Chongyun thanks her, saying that she'll pay her back immediately. Seoil says there's no need and asks what makes her so curious about that chubby guy. She was so surprised earlier, she didn't think a man of a martial arts clan could be so fat. His eyes look like slits because they were buried in his fat. Chongyun agrees, she's also holding onto a teddy bear. Seoil says that it probably reminds her of her bear, which is why she likes it so much. Chongyun though says that she was merely interested in the last attack that took out the fourth son, and she wanted to know his past. Seoil says that might have just been a coincidence though, and Chongyun says that she's not sure about that. Seoil says that she may have better martial arts, but she has a better eye for things. And even so, she's interested in a pig like that, who tired himself out with a small scrap. She guesses that her peculiar curiosity is something even the greatest have given up on, and there's no way she could understand such a thing. But she's always been so intrigued, asking how she can even see stuff with one of her eyes permanently covered. Chongyun says that she's reading that right now, which shows that she can see. Seoil asks when she's going to get rid of her bangs, saying that she doesn't know why she hides her beauty like that. Chongyun asks if she would prefer if she brushed them over. Seoil thinks about it, saying that if more men paid attention to her, she might come to envy her in the long run, and that sounds miserable. Chongyun says that she'll let it be then. Seoil then says that she's so glad she doesn't like receiving attention and she's glad to be friends with her. Chongyun says that she also likes that she's not like the typical Yeagle clan members. And the next day, it's time for Jin to head out, and we see his father saying for the sake of the honor of their clan, he hopes that he keeps himself safe. Jin says he'll return with the name of their clan heightened and thanks Yunha for coming out as well. She says that there's no need to thank her, as he's going so far away it was a given. She then hands him a box, and he asks what it is. She says that she prepared these rice balls so he could eat them on the way. He asks if she really packed them herself, and she says that she did, though she can't vouch for the taste. He thanks her, saying that she's the best and he'll eat them well. He hops up on the whip and starts riding away. We see some men trailing behind him. He stops his horse. They ask what's wrong, saying it's not time to rest yet. He spots the leader, saying that he seems worried that he might throw a fit because he can't leave. His name is Zong Kang-sung. Jin says that he'll run toward Yunnan from here, and they ask what he means. He says exactly what it sounds like. He's going to run there because he needs to lose some weight. The other warriors ask if he's really going to try to do that with his body, saying that they understand his determination but they made a contract. The lost time leads to losses for them. Jin asks if they'll take his horse as payment. It's a very good horse, and he'll give it to them if they allow him to run there. The price of a horse would be more than enough to cover their losses. Kang-sung says that he guesses it would be adequate. Jin says he's clearly trying to fleece him here. Kang-sung sighs, saying that he'll be frank. Jin says hi Frank. Kang-sung tells him that he thinks he is not informed, but a horse like that means he could ask for any price he wanted, and it's too much to receive for compensation. Jin did not expect this, as he thought he'd try to get more out of him. He says he apologizes. He had the wrong impression of such an honest man, and it's an honor to be with such an excellent warrior. Kang-sung says that he was merely trying to tell him the truth, and Jin says he knows very well the worth of the horse. But on the battlefront, he will not be able to get a good price for it, and he worries that his determination will weaken if he owns it. So in return for giving them the horse, he wants him to continue looking after him. Kang-sung says that he's completely different from the rumors, and he understands that he's paid quite the hefty price, so they'll do their best for him. And so he began running. It takes 3 days on horseback without rest to go to their destination, and he has no doubt it will be extremely difficult for the current him. But this running will certainly be the nutrient that allows him to be reborn, and he'll make a difference in this life no matter what it takes. He says this, yes, yet he starts barfing after just a couple steps. Kang-sung asks if he's sure that he doesn't want to just ride his horse, and Jin says of course not. And that was enough resting, so it's time for him to get going. They get a little further and he has to lay out on the ground, and he wonders if running was always so hard. He says it hasn't even been 15 minutes, and he doesn't have the strength to move a muscle. Somebody puts a handkerchief by his neck, and we see none other than Chongyun telling him to wipe off his sweat with this. He gets a little embarrassed and says that he's shown her a bad sight, but she's more surprised that he remembered her name. He says that he heard Seoil say yesterday, and she says that he must have a good memory. And that he can take her handkerchief because she has some more, and she tells him good luck and that she'll be cheering him on. As she leaves, everybody is just confused but then starts hyping him up, saying that she must be into him. But Jin says that's definitely not why, but says that it does feel good. He says that he's rejuvenated and ready to keep going, but they only get like another minute or two away before he starts vomiting again. Kang Sung says that they should eat if they're resting anyways, and they'll probably be eating outdoors pretty often at this rate. They set up a camp as the night comes, and Jin asks if he could have some too. They say that wouldn't be a problem, but they thought his little sister prepared him a meal. He says that her cooking skills aren't good, and it was not fit for human consumption. They all start laughing, saying that if such a beautiful girl from a family was good at cooking, it would be unfair, and whoever she'll have to marry will be in trouble. One of the dudes laughs, saying just like his wife, and while they start scrapping, Jin says that it was a lot worse than he thought. Because it appears that he is not exactly set to be on good terms with his family, because she tried poisoning him. He says that his sister acted quite differently from what he remembered, but as she was his only family in his past life, he was excited to see her warm eyes. However, for some reason, he thought of the hatred and disgust in those eyes and wondered if maybe he saw it wrong. And now he knows that it's not her that has changed. He was just too stupid back then to realize the problem. She never cared about him even from the beginning. Maybe the one who killed her fiancé is none other than her. He was just glad to see that he understood his father's goodwill, but he guesses he never realized his sister wasn't even on his side. He gets up, asking Kang Sung if he could borrow a single-edged blade from him. The journey after that was just a continuation of his training. He continued to run place to place as they rode their horses, and he swung his blade while they rested. He trained his cultivation instead of sleeping, considering the impending approach of the battlefront, and he didn't want to waste a single moment. If he doesn't want to die, he needs to do his best, because that place is the land of life and death. Kang Sung says that he's never seen anyone train as hard as Jin in his entire life, and that he thought he wouldn't even make it this far, but now he's embarrassed of himself for thinking that. Jin says that he's just making sure he doesn't die, and that he's always doing his best. He then dodges a random arrow attack, and Kang Sung and his boys ask who's ambushing them with no respect. The men laugh, saying that those who are about to die shouldn't care for respect, and they need to throw their weapons away and surrender, as they are now completely surrounded by a group of bandits. The bandit leader named Mok Gusum is the leader of the Green Tiger Stronghold, and he says that if they don't want their heads to be split open, to do as they say. Kang Sung recognizes him and tells Jin that when the fight breaks out, he has to take the horse and escape, and they won't be able to buy him that much time. Jin says he remembers hearing about him, unlike the other bandit lackeys, and he's someone who has learned proper martial arts. Kang Sung respectfully greets him, saying that it's an honor to meet him, and that they are willing to pay a toll if he wishes, and they can resolve this without there being a need for bloodshed. Gusum says that a toll is good, and the toll is everything they own, their clothes, their horses, swords, pretty much everything like he said, and they better start stripping now. Kang Sung tells Jin to quickly get on the horse since they don't have time, and Jin yells at him, asking how dare they attack the third son of the Sunwoo clan, saying they must wish to be wiped out. Gusum laughs at him, asking if he's really the third son of the Sunwoo clan. Jin says he is, asking if he intends to dig his own grave by attacking him. Gusum stares at him and thinks about it, asking if he's really lying, wondering what he's trying to get out of this. Jin says he is undoubtedly an heir of the Sunwoo clan, and this bronze emblem of his clan symbol proves that. Gusum says to toss it over and he'll verify it, and Jin says if he gets any closer he'll ambush him. Gusum says that if he doesn't get closer he'll attack him, and Jin says he'll just throw it to him from here, but he needs to return it once he's done. He tosses it up into the air, and Gusum looks up towards it and catches it in his hand. When he reads it, it's nothing but a restaurant plaque instead, but Jin uses the chance to close the gap and stabs him directly in the chest while he was distracted. Gusum looks down at the blade, but it's too late. As he starts bleeding heavily, his men scream out to him. They yell, saying it was a surprise attack and they need to get rid of him now. Jin lets go of his blade and dodges one of the attacks before pulling out the next one off of his back. He starts easily taking out the bandits one after the other, and for some reason they keep screaming about it being a surprise attack when they literally just ambushed them. Kang Sung and his men realize that they are just watching and say they need to go assist him. The bandits scream, saying they are being slaughtered and they have to make it out if they can, and Jin says this is what he has been missing and that his body and soul are extremely happy from returning to the air of combat. After a bit, the fight is now all done and we see the bandits' corpses laid out on the ground. Jin lays down as well, saying that he is so tired. Kang Sung and the rest stare at him and ask if he is a martial master who has become younger by chance. Jin says there is no way that would be possible, and even if it were true, there is no way he would be so tired after a little fight like this. Kang Sung says that is a good point, and murdering without hesitation at his age isn't easy. Moreover, seeing him laid down in the ground full of corpses gives him some wild thoughts, him using sword ki earlier too. Jin says he wasn't, he is only second rate with 20 years worth of ki. And that the 13 Sinwu swords is a martial art focused on hiding blades, which is why it appears as such. Kang Sung says that he has heard of it before, and that the sword arts of prestigious clans sure are different. His second-rate martial arts are usually not so powerful, and that he has only managed to gather 20 years worth of ki at his age of 40, which is pretty embarrassing. Jin asks what cultivation methods he has learned, and he says that it is just the typical 6 unions heart method, and that is all he could get. Jin says he sees that of all things he could have learned, he chose a third-rate method that you can buy at any bookstore. He is more impressed that he got 20 years worth of it in the first place. Kang Sung then tells his men it is time to head out, and Jin says his efforts aren't able to shine due to not having been able to find proper martial arts, and he feels like he is seeing himself back then when he had to beg and copy the martial arts of others. And he thinks about it, wondering if it would be worth helping Kang Sung here and now. But they continued, and after days they finally made it to their destination. Kang Sung and his men say that it only took them 9 days to get here, and it is about time they get some proper sleep. Jin says that he will pay for all the drinks, and they say that the heir of a prestigious clan really knows how to be generous. Jin sighs, and they all take a seat at the table. Jin asks if they are going to be returning home after this. One of the warriors says that he will, because he has kids now, so he doesn't think he can continue this life. And they all start yapping about their families, and Jin spots somebody. Everybody else wonders who he is staring at, and it is none other than Chongyan, and they recognize her as well. And she starts to look their direction. Jin calls out to her, saying that it's nice to see her again here. He laughs, and she walks straight past him. As he's asking if she would like to take a seat with him, before he even finishes his sentence, she's already pulled it out and sits right beside him. The other warriors welcome her, saying that they were going to have some drinks, asking if she would like to order something to eat first. And they say it's nice to meet her. She says they can order food later. Now she wants to volunteer for the front as well. Jin's caught off guard, asking what she just said, and if she really wants to go to the battlefield. And asks her why. It's a place where even the most famed martial artists fear to go, which resulted in forced drafting, yet a woman will volunteer to go there by herself. It sure is odd. And he asks why she would volunteer to join. She says that it seems as if he's lost a lot of weight. And he says that his training has made him lose some. And he guesses that it's enough that she noticed. She says that he's become much thinner. And he says that she praises him too much. He hasn't lost that much. The warriors though start gassing him up, being the greatest wingman ever, saying that of course he'd be handsome after he lost some weight. Jin says he's heard that before, and Chongyan gets up, saying that she'll be getting some air outside. As she walks away, the warriors tell Jin to take the first drink. He says that he'll gratefully accept. And outside of the inn, she lets out a sigh, saying that he was so cute before. Exactly like her teddy bear dumpling. And that one move he showed off as if it was a stroke of luck, along with his background that she discovered from digging up his past, and everything about him just piqued her curiosity. The sight of him waddling and stamina being so poor that he wasn't even able to last 15 minutes in a fight. She couldn't let him be murdered by the demonic humans of the blood cult. And that she needed to protect him. It was her duty as someone who was the first to discover such hidden adorable cuteness. That's why she followed him all the way here. But now she no longer has a reason to enter the front, thinking of her family who'd worry for her. She says that she'll go back home tomorrow. And then she hears screaming. She instantly draws her blade as somebody's begging for help, and she runs over asking who's there. A man leaps out of the bushes at her, and she dodges the first attack, saying that he has no intention of defending. And that she'll ensure this ends with a single strike. She slices the man across his back, and he just slowly turns at her. She's caught off guard as to why he's still standing, and he runs straight at her. He then swings at her, and she puts up her guard, but the attack's so powerful it sends her flying backwards. She manages to regain her footing and asks what the hell's going on, wondering what a pervert is doing. But we see the man's mouth is actually sewn shut. Anyone else thinks he looks like Odon from Eternally Regressing Night, and he starts to scream with his mouth closed, running straight at her. She readies her blade and starts infusing it with sword ki, and slices forward, sending out a couple arcs. She says this is impossible because he's just brushing them off. And one of the warriors runs out, asking who's there. She tells him to wait, as he's not someone he can handle, but he runs in anyway swinging, and his sword gets sent flying. He looks down at it, confused, but that moment of distraction was all the pervert needed, as he impales him with his hand. She then goes for an attack on his back, but he manages to grab it. And we see that his sewn mouth is no longer sewn shut, as he's ripped it open with a creepy-ass smile. Her heart starts to sink, and the pervert comes in to finish the attack, but something flies in and hits him in the head, and lands back on the ground. Jin runs in, asking if she's alright. And she says that she is, but the other guy isn't. And they start yelling for their fellow warrior. Jin tells Kang Sung to quickly get back to the inn, and Kang Sung said that he just killed Yang, and he refuses to let this happen. But Jin says that he's just going to follow them, and they can't fight him outside. As he starts running at them, Chongyin steps up to get in front of Jin. She defends off the first attack, and while she fends off the rest, Jin tells him to get the hell out if you're ready. Jin tries to explain it to him, but Chongyin begins to lose her balance, and she slips, and she watches up as the pervert is coming straight in for her. He swings straight at her, but Jin manages to pull her narrowly out of the attack. The pervert then begins screaming, and Jin tells her to be quiet, as it's looking around trying to find her. She says that his eyes have been closed since earlier. She wonders if maybe he can't see. The warriors start yelling out for Jin, asking if he's okay. The pervert begins smiling and running straight at them, and Jin says now the people in the inn are going to be in danger. Inside we see one of them being held up by the throat, and another one dead on the floor. Jin runs in, yelling out for the warrior, and they start fighting it off. He grabs onto Kang Sung's blade, and Kang Sung asks where a monster like him came from. He can't get his blade out of its hand. Jin comes in from behind and hits him with a chair, sending him flying. Jin tells everybody to be quiet. Kang Sung and the rest instantly start yapping. Jin says this is bad. If he can't get them to quiet down, no one will be able to survive. He's coming in for another attack, and Jin realizes that they won't shut up, so he starts screaming. He grabs onto a table and flips it over, and continues screaming. Jin tells everybody else to shut up as the pervert begins looking around. They now realize that he was right in making them stay quiet, and Chongyin is straight facing the shit. Jin walks over to a chair, grabbing onto it, and yeets it across the room. The pervert looks towards it, and we see one of the warriors having to close the other man's mouth. He's struggling, and Jin asks if there's anything else that can make a sound. Chongyin leaps in with her sword ki, and swings down at the monster, who blocks it. He sends her flying away. She manages to land back on the ground, and instantly charges back in without missing a beat. The pervert is blocking each and every attack with complete ease, and she tells Jin to explain it now while they're fighting. Jin says that he can only locate people through sound, so if they don't make a noise, they'll be okay. Now that they understand, Jin says keeping quiet isn't going to change anything. If he realizes that he can't rely on sound, he'll use his nose, and he needs to take care of him before that happens. But first, there's something else he must do, and he needs to get his attention. He sees a bunch of money in a bucket, and says that while he's focused on Chongyin, he needs to use this chance. She spots him, and he tells her to be quiet. As he starts walking up behind him, he says that he's going to get his attention with noise before he approaches him. He throws all the coins on the ground, and he says that if sound comes from every direction at once, he won't know what to do. He'll use that chance to approach him. As he throws the bowl now, causing it to shatter, Kang Sung looks over, and Jin gets up right behind him. He says that he can't make a mistake here. If his hands even touch him, his weak body will be torn to shreds. As he starts to reach up for his neck, one of the warriors begins hiccuping because of the alcohol, and the other warriors look at him like oh shit. The pervert then turns, meeting Jin's face, and Jin realizes this is bad, and starts to think about a way out. If you've watched till the end, comment, refence, to let me know. Subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like or a comment to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.